I wasn't looking for giants when I began this investigation. I was studying architectural anomalies. Doorways too tall, staircases too grand, furniture scaled beyond normal human proportions. At first, these seemed like standard historical curiosities, easily dismissed as decorative excess or ceremonial design. But the deeper I looked, the less convincing those explanations became. Everything changed when I found the photographs. Not paintings, not myths. Not folklore exaggerated over generations, photographs. Real photographic evidence from the mid to late 1800s, showing human beings of impossible scale standing beside regular-sized people. The proportions in these images were extreme, almost unbelievable. Yet they weren't composites, the grain matched. The lighting matched, the shadows fell correctly. These photographs predated any technology capable of convincingly faking images at this scale. As I dug deeper, more images appeared. Cards de visite from the 1860s, cabinet cards from the 1870s, tintype photographs showing men and sometimes women, standing 8, sometimes 10 feet tall. These weren't circus performers or traveling showmen. They weren't advertised as curiosities. They were photographed as ordinary people, often in formal settings, sometimes surrounded by family members of completely normal height. Major institutions contain these images. The British Museum archives hold several. The Smithsonian mentions them briefly, then dismisses them as medical anomalies without further investigation. French collections catalog similar photographs. Russian imperial records reference individuals of unusual stature in ceremonial roles. The pattern is always the same. Acknowledge, categorize, move on. Never investigate, never ask why. Why were there so many? Why do these photographs cluster between 1850 and 1900, then suddenly disappear? Contemporary accounts didn't describe these individuals as freaks or oddities. They were presented as normal members of society. Guards, overseers, foremen of construction projects, people holding authority. The strangest detail is where these giants are photographed. Many stand in front of massive buildings with doorways absurdly oversized for normal humans, yet perfectly proportioned for the individuals pictured. Buildings we're told were designed for grandeur or intimidation suddenly make sense when you place a 9-foot-tall human in the frame. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. I began measuring doorways in government buildings from the 1700s and 1800s, 12 to 15 feet high. Not entrances, but interior corridors. Staircases with risers so tall a normal person must strain to climb them. Furniture, desks, chairs, beds found in museums and estate sales, all slightly too large and dismissed as decorative or custom-made. This isn't isolated courthouses across America, administrative buildings throughout Europe, government complexes in Russia, India, South America, all built in the same era, all featuring oversized proportions with no practical explanation. The pattern leads directly to Tartaria. Maps from the 1700s and early 1800s clearly label Tartaria as a vast region across northern Asia. Not a myth, a real place recorded in atlases and encyclopedias. Then in the mid-1800s, Tartaria vanishes. Not conquered, not renamed. Erased maps are redrawn. Encyclopedias omitted. History books pretend it never existed. Yet the architecture remains. Newspapers from the 1800s regularly reported discoveries of giant human skeletons, 7 to 12 feet tall. The New York Times, the San Diego Union, the Middletown Signal. Mainstream reporting, not sensational tabloids. After around 1920, these reports abruptly stop. Skeletons sent to institutions like the Smithsonian are now claimed to be missing, lost, or misplaced. Hundreds of specimens vanished without proper documentation. Oversized chairs, massive tools, giant wrenches with clear wear patterns suggest real use. These weren't ceremonial objects, they were functional, designed for bodies far larger than ours. So who were these giant people? A specialized class? Overseers of infrastructure and construction? If you inherited structures you didn't build, technology you didn't understand, you would rewrite the story. The buildings remember, even if we don't. The question is simple. Who were the giants and why did they disappear?